Welcome to another session of TriTech University, the inaugural live stream, actually. So this is a new process here that we're testing out, that I'm, well, not testing out, but that I haven't done in a while. I used to do a process like this in the past, and that kind of fell away when we were doing the Vimeo process, and then we moved over back to GoToWebinar, and now we're using our new service through our new video hosting. And so hopefully this is all working out. Hopefully you can all hear me. I'm showing that I'm broadcasting the audio, so we should be all good. Now, if you've never, well, obviously none of you have ever attended a session like this before, so there's going to be a little bit different of a process than we have done in the past. There is a chat option that you can click to over on the right-hand side of the screen, where you can click at the bottom to basically log in with your name, and that will allow you to chat not only with me, but with all of the other attendees, so that way we can have hopefully a more interactive experience here. And if there's any questions about today's topic, which is the special order process for your customers, definitely go ahead and ask those questions in that chat window, which I will be monitoring right here in front of me. And that way we can see about getting those questions answered. And by all means, if you have any other comments or questions or anything like that, definitely let me know. So let's go ahead and talk about today's content, which is the special order process. So within AIM and using the purchase order module, you have the ability to put in items that you need to order for your customers and have that become part of your purchase order process. That way, those items can get ordered for your customers right alongside other orders that you may need to place with that same vendor for other customers or for your store stock. And we can then try and make this as efficient of a flow as possible, so that way you can spend less time on shipping, less money on shipping, and ultimately get your orders processed faster. So let's go ahead and switch over to my AIM screen here. Now, hopefully everyone here who's attending kind of has the prerequisite of kind of knowing how the purchase order process flows normally. So you've got within the maintenance menu, you've got your shipping codes and problem codes and all of that all set up, and you kind of already know how purchase orders start and finish by keying those in as committed orders, and then ultimately those get changed into purchase orders, which you can then receive. Today's focus is going to be exclusively on special orders. So not really diving into anything regarding stock orders. We're just going to be talking exclusively about special orders for your customers, which when you think about it, more often than not, you are talking to your customer, usually either over the front counter or over the phone. So when you're usually in that type of scenario, you're going to be at point of sale. So let's go ahead and go into point of sale, which of course has opened up on my other monitor here. Let's go ahead and look up Mr. Anderson here and then pull him back over to this other monitor. Okay, so with Mike here, let's say that we need to order something for him. So let's go ahead and jump into the special order function. You can see there's a button right here by default on your normal point of sale menu here. If you don't, you can always set one up. It's just basically going to open up what we call the committed order form. So you can see this opens up front and center here. And at this point, I'm defaulting to a customer pickup shipping code, which I've set up in the system. And I'm just going to need to order something for him. So I don't know the item off the top of my head, so I'm going to use F6 to search my inventory. I don't have a whole heck of a lot of stuff in here, but I'm just going to see what I've got. And let's say that we need to get one of these, well, let's not get any targets. Let's find something a little bit more worthwhile. Say this trombone mouthpiece. Let's say we're out of stock of those. We can see we have 0 of those in stock. So let's go ahead and select that. And we can see that that pulls in the item and the item description, my vendor that I would normally get it from. And then the item number comes up. He only needs 1 of those. So I'm going to go ahead and put in just a quantity of 1. And we're not going to offer any kind of discount. We're just going to sell it at our normal price. So I'm just tabbing all the way through all of those fields. And then we can see this shows up down below as part of the order. Now, if there's any kind of additional items that we want to add, we can just put those in as their own individual SKU items. Let's say I do want to take, no matter what, let's say I do want to take some kind of deposit on this order. Down here at the bottom, we have the deposit button. Let's go ahead and click that. This lets me take up to 100% of the final invoice amount, which would be the $32.05. That's $29.95 plus the tax. I'm going to go ahead and take full payment. So I'm just going to go ahead and say save on that, which we can then see down here. And of course, my head's kind of in the way. So we can see down here that we are taking the current deposit. So the total amount that would be due, assuming that there's no changes in price or anything like that when the customer comes to pick it up, is $0. He's basically paying for it in full. Let's go ahead and save that. And you can see that that just becomes a line item here in my point of sale. And if there were any other activities that I was going to be doing, I could, of course, do that at this time. But let's just go ahead and tender this out. We'll just say he's paying for cash, and we'll say OK on that. And now we can finalize that transaction, and we can print him a copy of his receipt. And I'll just show this to the screen. And it will come up, of course, over on my other monitor, just because that's what it likes to do. So we can see that this is an order for Mike Anderson. There's the item. There's the total amount. There's the deposit received. So there is no balance, assuming that this is going to be paid in full. Okay, so that is basically how you key in a special order for a customer. Now, what that is doing in the background is putting that into essentially an ordering queue. So when I next go to create purchase orders in the system, that item will show up for that vendor. Here's the Acme Wholesalers, and there is the item that I'm ordering for account 1001. If there were any other special orders for other customers where I would be getting the product from that same vendor, or if there were any other items that were needing to be ordered for that vendor for stock, they would be showing up here. But basically at this point, let's say we just need to get this order done right away. So we can go ahead and we can save this, and this will generate a purchase order suitable for sending to the vendor. Once again, I will just print this to the screen. So there we go. We can see this is a purchase order to Acme Wholesalers. It's going to be billed to and shipped to me as the retailer. And there's the item with my cost that I have on record, for this product. So at this point, I would go ahead and close out of that. And now that has been submitted to the vendor so that when it comes in, I could then go in and receive it through receive purchase orders. Before I do that, though, I do want to just go ahead and come over back to point of sale and pull up Mike Anderson again. I just want to point out that we can kind of see here along this whole time, it's keeping track of that order here. So we can see that the order is awaiting here. If I go ahead and look at the details of that order, we can see that this item is on order with the vendor. So at any point, if your customer calls up and says, hey, how's my order going? You can come into their account in customer history, and you can, as you might have saw, I clicked right on that screen here. This brought up my customer history box, and then I can double click right on the special order, and then that brings up the order details of that. So in this case, we can see, once again, it is committed. We are processing the order, and the item itself is on order with the vendor. So when that item comes in, we'll know that it's ready to go. Which, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So let's exit out of point of sale. And let's go ahead and fast forward to saying that that order is now received, and we're going to go ahead and process it. So it comes in the receiving bay. We go to receive purchase orders, and there is the order from Acme. We'll go ahead and double click on it to bring this up. And of course, it's just the one item. Odds of you ever doing a purchase order for one single solitary item, maybe, maybe not. That obviously is up to you. But let's just go ahead and pretend that we got it. So we would hypothetically scan that with our barcode scanner, and then that goes ahead. And I, of course, don't have a barcode printer set up on my test computer here, but it shows the item now as received. When I quote unquote scanned it in, it updated that receiving quantity by 1 based on my settings here. It basically increases each item by a quantity of 1 when I scan it in for receiving. And at this point, I could go ahead and hit save. So that item is now updated and held in my inventory. And it's held in a very specific manner. If we go ahead and take a look at that inventory history, so that was HE270. So here is that item. It's the trombone mouthpiece. If I come down here and look at the detail of it, we can see that we do have one on hand up here in the corner, but the quantity available is 0. Now, the quantity available specifically says this is how many we have available to sell to the general public. And if we hit F6 while we're in that field, we can see that the reason the quantity is down from the on hand is because there is one allocated to an order from Mike Anderson. So it's basically holding that item in queue, if you will, and it's going to say that really there's no reason this should be sold to anyone else. And if you want further confirmation of that, you can always click the order button where you can see all of the order history. And in this case, we can see it was ordered for account Mike Anderson. Here's the order number that it was put on. Here's the purchase order that it was put onto to that vendor. There's the date that it was ordered, the quantity that it was ordered for, the date that it was received on the purchase order, and how many we received, and any other details that we might want to have in for that. So now that we have the item received, we can contact the customer and we can let them know their item is ready for pickup, so that when they come back to the store and we go ahead and we pull them up and we look them up here in our customer history, and you'll notice right away it says that customers have a special order that is ready for invoicing. So we would go ahead and click OK. And then what we can do to invoice that, we can see the order now says it is completely received. So that's another key indicator that yes, this order is ready for processing and invoicing. We can go into what's called a miscellaneous form, the miscellaneous form menu here. Your custom menu may be set up differently, but the main gist here is we're going to do a function called pulling in orders. We click on this. This opens up an order screen to show me any orders that are awaiting for that customer. There it is, the completely received order. If we want, we can click the View Order button in case there are multiple orders and we just want to see which items were on which orders. But there is the mouthpiece received and picked and waiting to process. So with that order highlighted, we can click Select. There it is. It's getting pulled right into the point of sale, at which point, if there's any other items they're purchasing, we can certainly, of course, do that. But let's go ahead and tender. And, of course, it wants to know how that's going to be officially paid for. Now, remember, the customer actually already paid for this. So we're not going to take a cash or check or any other type of credit or payment. We're instead going to apply a credit. We can click the Apply Credit button here. This customer happens to have 2 credits on the account. One that specifically says Order Deposit, which happens to be the amount due. The other one is just a random credit that was put onto the customer. So let's go ahead and select the Order Deposit, and we will confirm that we are going to apply the full $32.05. And we can see down below it is letting us know the maximum amount of credit that can be applied from this invoice is $32.05. So we'll go ahead and click OK. And that now shows that the amount is paid in full. Again, my head's kind of in the way down here, but just behind me you can see it says remaining due is 0, so we can go ahead and finalize that. And then, of course, we can print their receipt, which would then show the final invoice paid in full. So there we go. Everything is completed out, the credit is applied, and everything is finalized. So that's kind of the normal process for a sales, or rather a special order. Now let's do a hypothetical. Let's say, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to hop in to do a quick stock order. I know I said I'm not going to focus on stock orders much, but I want to do a stock order for an item. Let's actually do another HE270. Let's say I need a couple of these for stock, since I can see I don't have any. So let's go ahead and order 5 of those. And I'm just going to go ahead and save that just so that the order is in there. So now let's say we've got another customer that comes in. Let's go back into a new point of sale. Let's pull up someone else. Let's go to my John Quincy customer account here. Let's say this person also needs a mouthpiece, and we look and we see they're not in inventory, so we're going to do a special order for him, and we go ahead and we do the line item for HE270. Notice how it comes up and it says transfer from stock order. It says the item below is currently on an order for the following stock order. So it's showing me the order that I just put in for store stock, and it's wanting to know, do I want to transfer any of that amount from that stock order to the customer order? Well, he only needs 1. We've got 5 on order for stock, and sure, why not? So let's go ahead and put in a quantity transfer of 1 here, and we'll click continue. And what we'll see happen is it goes ahead and it puts the line item here of the quantity 1, and then we'll go ahead and, of course, we could take a deposit. We've kind of shown that already. So let's just basically go ahead and hit save on this, and we're not going to take a deposit. We're just going to finalize it. We've kind of talked about all of that already. Now what I want to do is I want to show you that when we go to the purchase order here, let's go ahead and create that purchase order. We're going to see that line item show up twice. We're going to see it's ordering still a total of 5, but now it's ordering 4 for store stock, the account number 2 here, and one of those has transitioned to ordering 4 my account 1009, my John Quincy customer account. So I'm still ordering 5 total. This works even if the item is already all the way onto a purchase order, by the way. It will still show that 5 were ordered, but when it comes in, it will say one of these is now allocated to that customer. So let's go ahead and we will save this. We'll generate the purchase order. I've already shown you all that. And then we can, of course, just the same, we can go in and we can receive that purchase order. So let's go straight to receive PO. There's the purchase order. I'm just going to go ahead and right click and say that yes, we are in fact receiving all 5 of these. So I'm just going to tag all as being received. Once again, it's letting me know I can't print labels because I don't have a label printer set up. No worries. We're going to save that. Now, let's say we call the customer and he says, oh, shoot, you know what? I actually found the one that I was missing, or someone gave me one, or whatever the case may be. He no longer needs it. So what we could do, because if we go and look at that item again, if we go and look at that item in history, HE270, it's going to say, hey, this customer still has one allocated. We go to the detail and we can see there's 5 on hand, but only 4 available. We don't want that special order that no longer it needs to be basically processed. We don't want that throwing off the quantity that we say is available to sell to the general public. So what we can do is we can do what's called unallocating that special order. If we go to modules and purchase orders, we can go to the utilities menu where there is an unallocate special order program. We can then come in here and we can key in the order number, or just hit OK. I'm just going to do that since I don't remember the order number. Let's go ahead and pull up John customer. And there is the order. It's basically saying it's been completely received. Let's go ahead and select it. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, yep, we need to unallocate this. So let's make that be an unallocated quantity of 1 for that line item. And up here, we can see there's an unallocation type. What we want to do is we want to say we want to transfer that to stock. So we'll go ahead and basically flag it that way. And then when we save, we will then notice that if we go back and look at that inventory history one more time, HE270, and then look at the details, it will now show that 5 are available to sell to whoever walks in that front door. So basically it's a way to say, yep, okay, the customer no longer has need of the special order. In fact, if we go and look at that customer account now, let's go into point of sale and look up John. And what we will see is that there is no open account there for the committed order. So it's basically it's closed it out. So no longer showing as something that is active on their account. Hopefully that's been making sense. Something else that you may want to make sure is set up. I think I discussed this in a different video. I don't have it set up basically on my computer just because I don't normally print anything out. But something that you may find super handy if you do a lot of special orders is you can have the system automatically generate what's called an order fill sheet or an order fill report. That's something you can set up here in the system variables. I'm going to go ahead and look for order, is it fill? Order status, I believe. Yep, order status report. This system variable, when you set it up, can be set up in such a way so that it will automatically print a sheet of paper that you can then put with the item in your stock. That basically says, okay, you need to set this item aside for a customer's special order instead of it going back with the general store stock. Especially if you do a lot of receiving and your person that's in charge of receiving doesn't necessarily notice that these items that are coming in are for a customer special order. By setting it up in a particular fashion, and I'm just going to borrow the settings down here, so we're going to copy that and paste that up here. When you receive a purchase order that has an item flagged for it, let's just go ahead and quickly set one up. So I'm going to go into a new special order for a customer, kind of doing this back office, if you will. Let's do one for, do I have pepperoni in here? Yes, I do. Good old Pepe. Let's go ahead and order another HE270, and we're just going to order one of those. And another thing that you can do is if you just need this to go out on a purchase order right away, no matter what, you can check mark down here where it says print PO, so that when you save, not only would this generate a receipt to the customer, but this will also generate the purchase order immediately. You can see it wants to generate a purchase order 1005. This is also where if the item is actually going to be drop shipped, you could say I'm going to ship it right to the customer, but we're actually going to have this come back to the store. So we're going to have it go that way. And let's go ahead and just print these out. So here's the order receipt. We'll show this to the screen. There it goes. You should be familiar with that. And then the purchase order. You can see up here, I knew the difference between the two because it says this is the PO2 Acme Wholesalers. So again, we'll just show this to the screen. And there she be, the PO2 Acme. Okay. So now this order is coming in. Let's go ahead and receive it. There's the order. Once again, I'm just going to go ahead and tag it as received. And let's go ahead and save this. Now, you'll notice it's popping up an output for the order fill report. Let's go ahead and print this out. So again, the whole idea of this is a sheet of paper that lets you know who the order is for, the order details, whether it's been completely received yet or not, just in case there are multiple items that are actually on order with other vendors, so that way you can know if this has been completely received or not. And in this case, we're seeing it is the mouthpiece. We ordered one. We've got everything essentially received and ready to go. So let's go ahead and close that out. That way, the whole idea of that is you take that piece of paper with the box and you set it in maybe a special area of your stock that's kind of like a staging area for customer special orders. That way, when the customer does come in to pick their order up, you can go straight to it there instead of having to go to your back stock and grab one from there, which again could cause some confusion just in the concept of, oh, there's 5 of them here, I'm going to grab one. Instead of that, you leave the 4 in your back stock. You've got the 1 now set in your staging area that is just basically picked up and ready to go. And if there were other items that were on that same special order, you can then start to put them all in the same pile so that, hey, when he comes to pick it all up, you just grab it off the shelf and you're ready to go. So then, again, we'll go ahead and we'll finalize that out. We'll go into point of sale, pull up Pepe. It's ready to be invoiced. We'll just go ahead and process it through the pull in order, select it, and there it is. He did not prepay for this, so we'll just say it's been paid by cash, and we will finalize that out, and the process is done. And you might have heard my cash drawer go off in the background. So yeah, that's basically some special order procedures. I didn't see anyone chatting. Hopefully you were all able to hear me. But yeah, that's kind of the concept. And I guess at this point, if there's any other questions, definitely let me know. Again, if you use that chat box over there on the side, you can put in your name down below and say hi, and then just let me know if there's any questions. Next Tuesday, we will be doing our next live stream, no longer webinars. I almost caught myself there. We're going to be going through some, let's see, I believe next Tuesday, yes, is station reservations. So if you operate any kind of station, whether that is a driving range or a firing range or a recording studio or any of these types of procedures where the station functionality is in play, and you would like to allow your customers to reserve time ahead of actually coming in and using it, that'll be something that you may want to check out. And of course, you can see the entire schedule of our upcoming live streams. I believe I have them scheduled out all the way through August. So if there's any ideas for live stream topics that you would like to see covered, shoot me an email to training@tritechretail.com. I'm actually looking to see I'm looking to see about adding a function to this new video portal where we can have an interactive polling area set up so that you can come in and you can submit your ideas for future live stream topics right there, and you can upvote on them, you can comment on them, so that way we'll all see who is suggesting what and if it's been suggested before. That way I can really see what is out there as far as topics that people would like to see me cover. If you have any questions at all on this or any other functions and you need them answered right away, give our support team a call. Be more than happy to help out any way we can. If you prefer more one-on-one recorded sessions via these types of online formats, we've always got that available. You can register for online training on our member portal, and those are, of course, recorded, and we get you copies of those right away, so that way you can get that info right away. Otherwise, that's about all the content that I have for today. Hopefully we'll see you all back next week or whenever the next live stream topic is that would be relevant for you and would be something that you'd be interested in learning. We're always looking for more feedback, so if you just have general questions or comments, definitely give us a shout at our sales lines, and we'll be more than happy to take those into consideration because we're always looking to improve these services for you. Until then, my name is Bill Steppen, and I hope you all can have a great day, and we will see you soon. Take care.